Hello, my name is Daniel, and this is the example case for Trader Bank's corporate loan dashboard. Now, this is a replica with example data of a dashboard that is currently being designed and implemented at the bank that I work at. It starts from the perspective of the financial analyst, who is the person in charge of analyzing each loan and recommending whether or not these are to be provided by the bank. This person will have two main data inputs. The first one through the main system of the bank with information about the customer, amounts, and other financial statements that are used in the analysis process. And the second one containing information about meetings and other administrative tasks that are not necessarily linked to the customer or the opportunities that they analyze. Both of these data inputs are stored in a separate database in the bank's servers. Now, using Power BI, we can connect to both of these databases and gather all of that information, manage the information, and transform it so that we can actually create a powerful insight and use Power BI's visualizations to create a dashboard. So this dashboard will be on the cloud, so many people can actually use the information and it's easily maintainable. This dashboard will contain two basic parts. The first one being the workload management for the team. So in this part, we'll talk a little bit about the response time that they have for each case, how their time is allocated, the approval rates, and also the workload volume that they are currently experiencing. So one of the applications here could be to manage the team's capacity on a day-to-day or week-by-week basis. And the second part is mostly business oriented, and it talks a little bit about the customer that we are servicing, the type of loan that they are requesting, and the amounts that they are requesting. One of the applications that we are trying to use here is to determine how different sectors or different types of loans could have different response times from the analysis teams. And what kind of return on our investment we are receiving for each one of the cases that we are analyzing. So up ahead, I'm going to jump into Power BI and actually give you a sneak preview of how the dashboard looks like. Now to Power BI, and we are looking at the live dashboard. This dashboard is split into three portions. The first one talks about the team Wilo. So we have all of the analysts here and how their time is allocated based on the activities that they perform. The second portion here talks about how we are doing in terms of response time versus the 20-hour goal that we have to analyze each one of the cases. And on the bottom portion here, we have um, the information about the volume of cases that are analyzed on a week by week basis, which can definitely serve to identify seasonality and based on that also manage the daily and weekly capacity. Now, one of the main advantages of using Power BI is that these dashboards and these templates are basically there so that we can refresh the data as it becomes available and you don't have to do any further addition. And it also, with that dynamic data, the visualizations are really clear and can really show in a easy manner the things that we are trying to portray. So for example, here we are definitely sure that there was a moment of about 2 or 3 weeks in which we were delivering cases in more time than was expected. Finally, on this part, we have three basic data points, which is the first one, the amount of hours that in average takes for an analyst to uh, complete the analysis of one case. The timeliness that this team or that these analysts are having towards that 20-hour goal per case target. And then finally, the approval rate, in which case we are talking about out of the 100% of the cases that are being managed, 63% are actually being approved. And the same way that we are looking at this as a whole team, we can also choose any of the analysts, for example, Carol Danvers here, and determine how is she doing in terms of hours worked per week, in terms of her timeliness. We can see that she had a, a stage here in which she was delivering cases in more time than expected. So we can actually easily identify that and take a look at what the reason was behind it. We see that she's taking about 21 hours to deliver a single case, and her timeliness is 56%, which is actually below the team's average. So it might have something to do with this peak that we are seeing here. So the last part is that here in the top section, we actually have some more filters that will help us and that will enable us to see the information, for example, on a month by month basis and focus on a specific month or a specific week so that we can actually check what the performance of the team was over time. And this is the first part of the dashboard that, as I mentioned, talks a little bit about the workload and the response time that the team has. The second portion of the dashboard is the most business oriented portion, and it basically gives us the information about the average amount that we approve for each one of the sectors in the industry that our customers belong to. So, for example, if I choose the construction sector, which is the largest one that we have, we can see that we have about 11K in average for the tickets that we are approving, and the tickets that are denied are for about 9K. So this is in thousands of dollars, right? The other thing that we can gather from here is that for this specific sector, the approval rate is 53%. It is conformed of 62 individual customers. And in general, we can see here that this is the volume trend that they have on a week by week basis. Now, the applications for this are not as short term as, for example, the ones in the team dashboard, but this can definitely help us to gain understanding, for example, on how different sectors will present different cases, and that will impact ultimately on the time that we take to analyze and provide a recommendation on each of those cases. So, in an application in the real world, if we can actually deliver that data back to the business associates, they can help or it can help them manage, for example, the customer's expectation in terms of how long it would take for us to analyze their case, to have it go through the entire protocol up until it's finally approved, and then they can actually obtain the cash in their accounts. So this is actually one of the applications that we were pursuing with this dashboard. And in the same fashion as we have seen here with the team dashboard, we also have some of the filters here on top. So it's easily identifiable, sorry, and you can also um, play a little bit with the data and gather some more insights. So I'm going to be providing a full link so you can take a look at the dashboard and play with it a little bit and tweak it so that you can see how it works. But in a nutshell, this is the application that and the solution that we have designed and implemented for the bank. Thank you.